Education, by definition, is the process of giving and receiving systematic instruction. But wouldn't you have to be educated to know that? We can look at all the statistics we want, such as the fact that in most North American cities, the dropout rate can be as high as 50%. But the real picture is right in front of our eyes. Look around your high school, your college or university campus. Are the classrooms full? How many students are skipping class? What is the value of education today? It is a puzzle that cannot be solved by even the most intellectual in today's modern world. Going to school, getting an education to ensure a future nowadays has become a laughable notion. But what are the root causes for this way of thought? So much is made of the media's influence on today's youth, yet nowhere in mainstream media can we find anything which really endorses or encourages education. Rather, the complete opposite is insinuated and even at times outright encouraged. Just look at one of the most famous athletes in the world. LeBron James is one of the most notable players in the National Basketball Association. Now, when researching him, it'll be easy to find what high school he went to. But it's impossible to find the college or university he attended. That's because there is none. James went straight into the NBA after his final year of high school, foregoing a post-secondary education. Now, over the span of 4 years, his salary is about $14.5 million, which isn't even including the millions more he makes off of all of his endorsements. So now, without a college or university education, LeBron James is one of the highest paid athletes in the world. Evidently, therefore, in today's materialistic world, whatever makes you more money fast is the way to go. You don't need to go to school if you can make millions without an education. That is what our society has come to today. What's more, there are people in third world and developing countries who would give anything for just even a day of school. Whereas here, education holds no more value. With all these thoughts in our minds and all these questions left unanswered, we've come here to York University to see what students think about the value of education. We're here to get the word on the street.
I think we take it a lot for granted, especially say in the more elementary years. Something like university or college people don't take as granted because, it comes out of our own pockets. But I would say for definitely elementary school and high school, people take it really for granted, and they even dread it sometimes and say, "Oh, I hate school," but really they don't know what they're getting, and there are people in other parts of the world who would die for that kind of education. So it's really something to appreciate.
A lot of people in third world countries, they have to work really hard to even get an education. Well, for us, it's kind of automatically given to us before university. And a lot of people, I guess, slack off and don't do as much work because they kind of take it for granted as if it's always been there as part of our society.
In the media today, we see people, who might not have a post-secondary education who are making millions of dollars. What do you think about that? Do you think that's fair? Do you think that, that's kind of leading society in another direction away from education?
No, I think that there's some people that they can basically figure things out for themselves, and they can figure let's say, how to sell a really good product and get lucky in life, and that's fine. If you're lucky and smart enough to come up with a product that gets you to the millions, that's fine, but some people have to do the work for it. That's basically what I think. I don't think it's not fair. I think it's justified. You don't have to get a bachelor's degree to get to that spot of millions, but you do have to get a bachelor's degree for something, let's say, as being a doctor, like striving towards professional positions, as opposed to just an entrepreneur.
Personally, education is not what many people would think of going to school, getting good grades. I do think going to school is great, and I do think that, but education is just learning and higher knowledge. When I go to class and I sit through, I'm not always thinking about getting the best mark or getting the best job, but actually learning and absorbing the knowledge from class.
Does education still have the same value in our society that it used to before, or is it kind of declining? What do you think about that?
It's still important, I guess, but in a very different way. Like, there's so much emphasis placed on a university degree that we forget about the importance of trade skills, because now like university degrees are useless except for the fact that you can't get a job with that one, but yet you don't have any practical skills with it.
As time progresses and parents are keep harping on kids to go get higher education and higher grades, that an undergrad degree doesn't mean as much as it does mean years ago. And as it goes on, you need to go get higher and higher levels of education, especially as society progresses and our knowledge base increases as a society.